everybody? It's your man Danelle, aka Small Guy Promotions, aka the Omaha Fatty, coming with another podcast episode of What's Up Omaha. Yeah. Before we dive in, please hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening, or if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, you can hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever new content becomes available. Now let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about some Jiu Jitsu. So shout out to Planet Omaha. That's my dojo home. That's where I've been training for 6-7 years, however long it's been. But I want to talk about community, the Jiu Jitsu community. So recently, our dojo was closed on a Sunday for our open mat, and it gave me an opportunity to go and visit my friends over at Nebraska BJJ. Shout out to Ryan Yamada. He's running, one of the guys running things over there, and he used to train with us at 10th Planet. Unfortunately, he left, and that was just like a void, because not only did I like training with him on the mats, but he's just a good dude, has good energy, and I enjoy his presence, his company, and I got the opportunity to roll with him. He had actually invited me out a while back, and I had not gone out. I've been back training jiu-jitsu for about a year, and I had said that, yeah, man, I'll come out and visit. You know how life is. It just hadn't happened yet, right? So let me move over here a little bit so you can see that. But yeah, man, it just hadn't happened. So I wanted to do open mat Sundays. I mean, unless I have something else going on, I'm usually at open mat. And that just left an opening for me. And I was like, yeah, man, I still got to get it in. I got to get in some exercise, because it puts you in the right place mentally and physically for the day when you get in some rolls. So they had recently moved, and they were actually closer than they were when they were at their previous location. Right now, they're over at like 120th and I. There's some gum store over there. There's a produce stand on the corner. It's to the east of the Sam's Club. So yeah, man, I went out there, had a good time, enjoyed the energy. Everybody out there was very welcoming. It can be kind of intimidating when even if you're a seasoned jiu-jitsu practitioner and you're going to a new dojo where you don't really know anybody, you're not familiar with how people roll. It can still be kind of intimidating. So it's always nice to have someone that there. I got my first roll in with Jason Bartholomew, my guy, who I've known for years through 10th Planet, and that was my warm-up role with him, and it was a good role. And then I made my way, and I got to roll with a couple of different guys that I didn't know and hadn't rolled with before. So as a person who does jiu-jitsu, like with anything else, the more experience that you get when you're training with multiple people, different people, you become more well-rounded. And that's a conversation that Ryan and I had many years ago. We went out to lunch one time, and we were talking, because he's kind of like, his I guess his nickname, or maybe, or just like his style, he's the jiu-jitsu nomad, and he will train anywhere. He will go anywhere to train because he loves training, and he just wants to gather more knowledge and experience. And that's what it should be about, right? So as I was there was a guy named Tim who he welcomed me, and he goes, I remember you. Like, I think we rolled some years back. I went to 10 Planet a couple of times, and I was like, oh yeah. And I didn't really remember him right off the top. But then as I saw him rolling, I would go, wait a minute, Tim. I said, Tim Locklear? He's like, yeah, that's me. I'm like, oh man, yeah, I remember you. And we started talking, because we had talked on social a few times or whatever. And I was like, okay, man, that's cool. But yeah, man, It was a good experience. It was good. At the end of the open mat, we talked. I had a few different conversations with a couple of different guys, and we just talked about cross training and how come we don't do it more, dojos in general, because Nebraska BJJ and Axios BJJ, they partner up often and they cross train at each other's dojos. And I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. Like it's nice to get that, I'm sure. It should be a partnership like that with different dojos. Like, why not? I mean, aren't we all in it for the same reasons? I mean, we may be doing different things. Like some people may be doing it for fitness. Some people may be doing it just because they want to be active. They want to do something. Some people might be actively training for competitions. Some other people might be training for fights. Maybe they do MMA. Like, there's a various amount of reasons that people may train. Self-defense, self-esteem, that type of stuff. Who knows? Um, but no matter what side goal we have like that, the main goal is to always improve and get better. Like I don't ever feel like I'm good at jujitsu. Um, but I just train all the time to be better than I was the day before. That's the goal, just to improve. And I'm okay with small, like if you listen to the podcast, if you follow me, you know that I'm okay with small wins, like small improvements, because it all adds up. And there may be some people who come in and they just are rock stars, and that's cool. That's cool for them. Uh, my path is a little differently, or is a little different, and I move a little differently. So um, that's what it is for me. But at the end of the day, it's about us all improving. So why not roll with people that we don't roll with? Whenever we have an open mat, or even if it's a class and we have a visitor come, we are all excited that someone came to visit our dojo. We're excited that we got the opportunity to roll with someone else that we don't normally roll with. When you roll with someone, like people all the time, it's hard to like gauge where you're at because you guys are always training together. You're learning the same things. You don't know. So it's when you get someone from the outside who comes in and you're kind of able to test yourself and see where you're at. I mean, that's the real measuring stick. It's like, how good am I against someone not from here? And both have their advantages. It's kind of cool to roll with people who you know and you're comfortable with and familiar with, and you get to try different things with those people because you kind of know each other's games, so you're able to work around or shut certain things down, and you know where you can rest and where you're good at. So that's cool. But there's also like the unknown of training with someone that you've never trained with before and not knowing their strengths and their weaknesses and them not knowing yours. So it's more of a challenge sometimes. They each have their pros and cons because it's a challenge when you go against someone who you always go against and you guys do the same things. But this is like the unknown. So you get to experience that. When someone comes and visits and they learn something from your dojo, they're usually appreciative. They're usually open to it, especially if there's something that your system does that their system doesn't do. Uh, and the same thing when you go and visit somewhere, it's just like that. So why don't we do that more? Why don't we practice community more? Like, there's so many people who do jujitsu, and yeah, we may not get along with everyone. That's okay. But sometimes as a dojo family, like you feel like you're stuck in the middle because you like this guy over here, you like this guy over here, but they don't like each other, or there's some kind of bad history, bad blood, or whatever it is. And myself personally, I'm like, dude, I just want to come and train. Like I don't care. I just want to train with everybody. As long as you're not like a garbage person, let's train. Like a garbage human being, let's train. Let's work to get better. Like that's what it should be about, man. That should be the focus. And if we're not competing against each other in like a real competition, I'm not just talking about open mat or after class, when we're doing live rolls. if we're not actual opponents and competitors, why not? And even we can still be that at the competition, but we could be be partners before the competition. Maybe not like right before like a competition, like leading up to it. Like you probably want to be at your home base and train as much as possible. But like just a random day, yeah, man, roll with that guy who just walked through the door, or go, you may be the guy that just walked through the door somewhere else. Like get that experience points, man. Like, or those experience points. Like no limits, man. Why would we limit ourselves? Why would we put boundaries on ourselves in something where it's so open and so free? Jiu-jitsu, like anything else, with so many different people and personalities and thought processes, there's different people attack jiu-jitsu in different ways. So people might see certain things that other people that you normally train with don't see, vice versa. That's how we become more well-rounded. Like, let's learn from each other, man. Like, no egos, leave the egos at the door. That's what we talk about. Like, you are going to get tapped out probably. Don't have an ego, bro. Like, let's just grow together, man. Like, let's really do this jiu-jitsu community. And I don't know what it's like in other places because I've never lived anywhere else. But anytime that I've gone to visit a dojo, uh it's always been welcoming. Not that I've been to a ton of dojos, you know, I've been to San Antonio, but that's our family's 10th Planet San Antonio is our dojo family. So I don't know that that necessarily counts, but you know, I've gone to one or two other dojos here, and people want you to come and train, so they usually welcome you. Why don't we do that more? Why don't we cross train more? You know, I've had some of my jujitsu friends on the podcast before, and we've got to sit down and talk about stuff. And you know, I just think that's the way to win, the way to get better is just to learn, sample from here. That's how, like just in life, man. When you grow, you may not take every aspect that one person has taught you, but you may take a piece here, a piece from this person, a piece from that person, and then you mold it together and personalize it to what works best for you. So why not have as many pools of resources as are available to you to pull from that, to pull what works for you? You know, there's different things, there's different mindsets, there's different body types. There's just so many different variables in jujitsu. Like no one knows everything. It's continually evolving. Um, you know, even with grappling being like the oldest sport, like there's still ways to grow. There's still things to learn. We don't know everything. Even black belts are still learning. For as like as much as you may look at a black belt and go, "Oh my gosh, that guy is so good." He still doesn't know everything. And that's what makes a good, I think, martial artist is knowing that you can always learn more. And again, how do you learn more? I'm not necessarily a student of the game. I don't watch a lot of film and I don't, you know, read books. I just go and train. So the easiest way for me to learn from someone is to train with someone. To, you know, you train with different people, you learn different things. Shoot, at the dojos you have seminars where guests instructors come in and they teach you stuff. Isn't that right there? Why we're learning there? Why don't we apply that daily? Why, you know, why does it have to be like a special occasion to learn from someone else, to learn from somewhere else? I think we could do a better job of that. I mean, but don't get me wrong, I love jujitsu, man, and I love that I've got to meet so many great people. It kind of stings a little bit when you build these bonds and people have to leave for one reason or another, but that's life. Uh, I say as an adult, like if you don't have friends or you don't have as many friends as you like, if you're at all interested in training jujitsu, maybe reach out to someone that you may know, or just stop in at your local dojo and check out a class. You don't have to live roll. You can sit and watch. I'm pretty sure all dojos let you watch just to make sure that you are comfortable and know what you're getting into, because it can be an intimidating thing. And it can cause some anxiety as you're starting out and you don't know what to expect. So, uh, but yeah, one thing I will say, if you do have a friend that does jujitsu, don't be that friend that, every time you see that friend, you talk about jujitsu and how you want to start, but you never take the first steps to start. Like, it's cool to be that guy and ask that question initially, like once or twice, but at some point, like, we can only answer so many questions for you. You just got to take that step and learn on your own. Like, you got to do it for yourself. No one can do that for you. So, whatever it is, find that motivation that you need and get out there. Don't be scared, homie. No, seriously, don't be scared, because it can be scary. And again, that anxiety sometimes can get the best of people. So, if you do feel anxiety, don't think that something's wrong with you or it's just you. No, it's just, you don't know. If you've never done that before, you can get hurt. You can, I don't know, just like, are you going to get choked out? Like, you might think that, but usually nobody's getting choked out. Like, I've seen it a couple times. Getting choked out doesn't hurt, but it's very rare that it happens, and it's usually on accident. Sometimes it happens just when the instruction is going on, and you know the uki is in a tight spot, and they're trying to hold out because they don't want to interrupt the instruction. But so maybe they don't get the chance to tap because it comes on so quickly, and they go out for a little bit. But it's okay. No one gets hurt. A lot of times when I have been hurt, I've done it to myself. Like, that's what happens sometimes. Like, I've been hurt more by myself than I've been hurt by other people, I think. So and if you've been following along my journey with Small Guy and Omaha Fatty or whatever, you may know that recently I like fractured my finger. Like, it's a little more fat than it used to be. I've got most of my like mobility back with it, but I don't have I'm not full strength with this finger anymore. Like, and it doesn't hurt, but it just aches a little bit every day. I just can't bend it as much as it used to bend, but it's pretty much there. I'd say it's like at 90%, maybe a little more. But yeah, it happens. It happens sometimes. You just get hurt. It's a physical sport. It's a physical martial art. So comes with the territory. And as we joke, we all signed the waiver. So we know. But yeah, man, I just want to talk a little bit about dojo community, because we had conversations when I was at Nebraska BJJ about like making the community more of a focus, man, and let's just come together. Like, yeah, there might be a couple people who don't like each other. Well, they don't have to train with each other, but other people can. Like, you don't have to make someone feel bad about training with someone else if you have a problem with that person. Like, to each their own, man. Everybody's in it for a different reason. And just let's let that individuality stand out, and let's not try to put everybody in the same box, and allow people to grow, man. That's the main thing. So let's do that more. Let's bring the jiu-jitsu community together and do some great stuff on the mats, and outside the mats, form some great bonds and friendships. And that's what it is, man. That's all I got for y'all today, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Again, the podcast is not going anywhere. I'm here. I've just been busy. But thank you so much for tuning in. As we end every episode, smile. Help someone else smile. Laugh and help someone else laugh. All day, every day. Yeah. Peace out, y'all.